สวัสดีค่ะดิฉันกุมารีกุมารกุลนครค่ะ I have been with KIS International School for over 26 years actually. The KIS journey has always been centered around knowledge, inspiration and spirit. I was extremely thrilled when I was approached by Khun Pongsak and Khun Jiep to share my experience with the founding team as a teacher, marketing communicator and administrator, and to join the KIS founding team. Our first mission was to follow through with Khun Pongsak and Khun Nadrudi's dream and inspiration to create a quality learning international school that would follow the model of Washington International School, one of the world's first IB schools. We created our own vision and mission from that day, which was to create an IB international school that allowed young learners to become interculturally competent, multilingual, happy, and responsible global citizens ready to make changes for a better world. So, allowing us to leapfrog to a rapidly growing international school market, there was so much to learn, concepts to understand, and knowledge to gain. I would say that the founding team went through a very steep and sharp learning curve. We had to put all the elements of our desired pedagogy to be a true international IB school. Next, we approached the head of Washington International School, who at that time was Anne-Marie Pierce, and we proposed to seek the opportunity to become a WIS-affiliated school. Though the franchise model was also possible, we chose the affiliate model so as to be able to build our own brand and reputation while giving us access to the wisdom and experience of successfully running an IB international school for a diverse and diplomatic community within Washington, D.C. for over 30 years. Having successfully signed the affiliation agreement, throughout the planning and pre-opening stages and even after the years of opening, we were privileged to have Anne-Marie and members of the WIS senior leadership team as our consultants. I believe that the final touch to the success of this affiliation formula was the recruitment of the KIS founding head of school from within Washington International School. Why? Because we believe that though we did not wish to be a Washington International School in Bangkok, we wanted the WIS spirit to be carried through to KIS. We were impressed with the school's culture, the caring and inclusive community of WIS. Khun Nadrudi flew over to Washington, D.C. to ink the contract with our final candidate, Sally Holloway, who was our founding head since 1998, leading KIS through 20 solid years of steady progression. A successful pre-launch marketing strategy that we employed was our playgroup. We initiated to demonstrate our teaching and learning for 2 to 3 years old. So it was like living proof of how our school would be like. And our first honorary students were, of course, Kuk and Kik, holding ID numbers 1 and 2, together with the twins of Ying Nong, who was our first operations manager, and a few other children. I think the final unexpected magical touch for the school was that about a year after we opened our doors for students, we received the honor from Her Royal Highness Princess Mahachakri Sirinthorn, who graciously presided over the inaugural ceremony of KIS, which is most appropriate as Her Royal Highness herself truly exemplifies all the characteristics of an IB lifelong learner profile.
I came to Thailand in 1998 and I stayed for 21 years at the best school in Bangkok. When I think of KIS and I look back, it's the joy and the laughter. It was a place I knew I would go to work and I would laugh every day. I can't really remember my first day. I think we had so many firsts in the school setup. I think for me, though, the first day was the first official day. It was exciting to finally have got there. And of course, I wasn't just there as the founding head, I was also there as a mother. As a child, I was someone who loved change. I always changed my own bedroom constantly. I needed that in my life. And I think that was why KIS was a perfect match for me. We had to adapt the spaces because we grew. We started off with just over 60 students, and by the end of the year we had 90. So we were constantly saying, how can we use the space we have? So on the one side we've got the new buildings, which of course was recreated totally for space to use. But the early years in the primary school, I don't think the year went by without us changing something, whether it was an office moving, a classroom moving. And I think part of that as well was the board, who were always excited to have those discussions. And then with the staff, people always changed. I would have to say June was the biggest one for me because she was one of my first hires. I wanted an early years specialist. I realized her strength, so she became the early years coordinator. And then I thought I need to use her even more. And she went on to become the primary principal. And when we went into secondary, she helped, and she was the interim secondary principal for the first 2 years. Yui's another story. She came in as a new graduate. She was in the library, supporting there. Then she took on the library. And today we have her as the school director. When we've done CIS visits, the teams have always said you can really feel the sense of ethos within the school, and we live our values, we live the mission. And I think that's true, has always been true. But some of the stories there, particularly with the tsunami, when the tsunami happened, it was the school's response to that, the community's response, what can we do to help? And we went into long-term projects with a school down in Cowlack. We continued with that for a long time. We did set up the fun fair. The fun fair came out of that. It was all about raising money to support these projects. And when they no longer needed us, we just transferred to continue supporting in other projects. It came from the heart, and it came from everybody's heart, and it was, who the school is.
I joined KIS since 2020, so this is my 4th year in the community. As a parent, I have visited many schools before I chose KIS. When we visited the campus, almost everyone we met said hello to us and quickly made us feel welcomed. I would say it's a busy, satisfying job, priceless experience for me. This role allowed me to grow personally, make a lot of friends, as well as to learn more about school. The most important part is I realized we can truly advocate for our students. Due to the efforts of my predecessors, KISPA is well respected by the school and generally appreciated by the broader community. What we do is to strive to maintain this beneficial relationship as we move forward so that parental voice and agency will always be an integral part of how KIS works. Both of my girls have learned how to advocate for themselves when needed, and then they are often willing to try different opportunities. They are not afraid of asking questions or making mistakes or sharing ideas with others. We joined KIS soon after the school onboarded its first new head of school since its founding, and soon our division principals also became new faces. Thanks to the solid foundation led by our previous leadership team, our new leadership team was able to come in, capitalize on our strength, and make improvements where we needed. Everyone can feel the sense of excitement in the air, and many of us are optimistic about where the school is headed and excited for the opportunities to come for our students.
I've been working at KIS for 11 years. I was also a student from 1998 till 2010. Obviously, when I first started, there was just the primary building a concrete basketball court, a pond, and a massive 11-a-side football field. Probably one of my earliest memories was our first football game against St. Stephen's. It was the first that the school had ever had, and I had the honor of being named captain. Sadly, it was a bit of a boring game, a 0-0 draw, but still some fabulous memories from that day. I think for me personally, it would be very exciting to see where we head off next to and where we grow next. I think KIS had prepared me in a lot of different ways, specifically for university. However, also the amount of different presentations and group projects that we did really set me up for life in terms of work and working with other people.
ความคิดในการจัดตั้งโรงเรียนนานาชาติเกษณีขึ้นมาได้ยังไงคะ
การเรียนรู้ด้วยความเข้าใจเนี่ยจะสร้างความมั่นใจให้แก่บุคคลได้ง่ายและการศึกษาที่ให้เด็กเป็นศูนย์การศึกษาเนี่ยเป็นสิ่งที่น่าจะเกิดขึ้นในเมืองไทยอย่างมากที่จะทำให้เด็กเนี่ยพัฒนาได้เร็ว
สุดาสยามบรมราชกุมารีเสด็จพระราชดำเนินยังโรงเรียนนานาชาติเกษณีเขตห้วยอ่านและค้นคว้ามีทักษะทางภาษา
ไม่ละเลยภาษาและก็วัฒนธรรมไทยอันเป็นเอกลักษณ์ของชาติ
ประเทศเพื่อการค้นคว้าและเป็นสื่อการสอนสำหรับฝึกทักษะ